Hey guys, Dustin with the PPC Pros. Want to do this quick video about Google Smart Shopping campaigns, a few of the results we've gotten and whether they're worth testing for you or not. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So talking about smart shopping today, a lot of people have messaged us, asked questions, emailed us about shopping campaigns, how to set them up, what are the best practices, how to set up conversion tracking. There's a lot to Google Shopping if you're new to it. But this is something I thought would be very interesting to share for those that have been doing Google Shopping for a little while and are looking at maybe finding additional tests that you can do to optimize performance. So smart shopping basically is Google's attempt to automate the bidding, the placements, pretty much everything when it comes to your shopping campaign. There's a few requirements I'm going to cover in just a second here, but so far the tests we've done have actually looked pretty good. I'm going to share some of those results with you in just a minute. First, let's talk about the requirements. So if I pop over here on my screen, you can see the requirements Google has for smart shopping are: number one, you need to set up conversion tracking. That's the thing a lot of you guys don't do for some reason. And you also want to have transaction-specific values, which is a fancy way to say you're tracking revenue. So these smart shopping campaigns will ask you for a return on ad spend target, meaning for every dollar you spend, what's the target that you need to get out in revenue? So if I'm spending $1, do I need $3 in revenue? If I'm spending $1, do I need $5 in revenue? That's going to depend on your product margins and things like that. The other thing you're going to have is at least 20 conversions from a regular shopping campaign, not just text ads, from shopping in the last 45 days in order to be eligible to run this. So if you're just starting out, you're going to have to start with a regular shopping campaign, make some sales, make that work for you, which I think is a smart approach anyway. We usually always, even with smart bidding for like stuff related to text ads and regular campaigns, we always start manual so we can kind of get a feel for where things are with our expertise before we start testing bid strategies. So I think it's a smart thing anyway. But basically you have to have some level of conversion from shopping in the last 45 days, 20 conversions or more the better. So that's what they're asking for right here. As far as practicality, let me just pop into these accounts real quick and we'll talk about specifics. A couple things you need to know. The data we're going to see here is not going to be for the two. Like we have basically what I have is some comparisons, our regular shopping campaigns that we ran for a long time, and then our smart shopping campaigns. Now, when you create a smart shopping campaign, it will cannibalize the traffic in your regular shopping campaign. So we always leave the regular campaign on just in case something were to happen. But what we see is that the traffic will, like 99% of it goes from the regular shopping campaign to the smart shopping campaign, and Google does tell you that. So it's not a surprise. It's a normal thing, but I'm saying that because in order for me to show you comparisons, I'm having to use either a really long date range where one was running and stopped, and then we started the other one, and I'm trying to, in some cases we have like season, like peaks, where we just had one of them on, not the other. I'm trying to normalize that. So I'm going to do the best I can to show you pretty apples to apples data, but just keep in mind that just the nature of smart shopping the way it is, you can't show two campaigns running in the same period of time to really have that apples to apples comparison. So I'm going to start right here with this first account. This first account is this is an e-commerce account, but a lot of their sales happen over the phone. I was really concerned when we first started with this because, like I mentioned, smart shopping runs on a return on ad spend model. Well, we don't have a transaction-specific value for a phone call, and I did not want to start adding in some number, some value for a phone call. The average sale on the site is several $100s. So, in order for me to really make that work, I was a little concerned, and I decided to start off with a more conservative return on ad spend target. So in this particular account, the majority of our conversions come from the phone, and then we have sales as well. And I was worried that if I was going to use smart shopping, that Google would look at those phone calls as not being valuable because there's no transaction-specific value associated with them, and they would stop going after phone calls or keywords that generate phone calls and only go after the ones that generated sales, which would be a big problem. So I'm glad that did not happen. And since we started with this particular client on smart shopping, and then as the months have gone on, we've increased that return on ad spend target over and incrementally just to make sure nothing shifted. So enough of that. Let's just look at the numbers. So we can see right here, smart shopping or shopping smart. We've spent so far about $2,700. The big number I want you to look at is not so much the conversion value, although obviously that's important, but the conversion value divided by cost, right? So that's return on ad spend. That's how efficient was our ad spend in getting us more conversions or more revenue in this case. So in this case, you can see our smart shopping doubled the performance of our regular shopping campaign over this, if I'm looking at both campaigns in this period of time. Revenue-wise, we actually did have a little bit more revenue. As far as conversions, I think we probably at this point of this screenshot, we've been running smart shopping a little bit longer than we have the shopping campaign this date range, meaning that the shopping campaign's been there for years, but this is like maybe let's say 2 months of regular shopping, maybe 3 months of smart. So that's why I'm not really harping on how many conversions we got. I'm more looking at, first of all, the cost per conversion is way lower. Second of all, the return on ad spend is way better. So this is a big win for us. And we did not lose the phone calls, by the way. It actually stayed pretty much the same. So that was really important. The next account I'm going to show you is a very similar thing where a lot of sales happen on the phone. Once again, concerned about this one. Not worry about this chart for right now. It kind of makes things confusing. But anyhow, you can see we just created a Smart Shopping Canada campaign. We just did that yesterday, so there's no data there. You can just ignore that. But if we look at our regular shopping and our Smart Shopping campaigns, I don't think we had Smart Shopping running until about December, like the first week of December. And right now it's the first week of January, so it's been 30 days or so, and we've had this other campaign running for months. You can see the conversion value divided by cost is actually a little bit lower here. But the reason why I'm showing this is because, number one, we've only had 30 days, and we missed like Black Friday, which was a pretty awesome time for us in the regular shopping campaign. So there's, like, once again, that seasonality thing I mentioned. There's a little bit of a discrepancy between, which one was on at what time of the year. But the point is we started off more conservative in this account as well. And since it's only been on for 30 days, we still were at like that, 300% return on ad spend target. And you can see it's been at a 400% return on ad spend target. That's what that represents. So it was actually doing better than we wanted, and we've increased that a bit. Now, for this particular client, we're going for volume here. We're actually not even trying to get necessarily the best return on ad spend. I mean, we want it, but we want volume as well. So we don't want to lose sales. Now, the other part, like I mentioned before, is conversion value here is only one part of the puzzle. I think this is like 2 months or so. 2 months or so in conversion value from what AdWords reports, and this is 1 month. So you can see we're a little bit lower, but I can tell you what, our calls have increased. And we sell a lot of product through the phone for this client. So you're not going to see those numbers here, and I'm not going to go into their shopping cart to show them to you. The point of it is even if we don't factor in the phone calls right now, our conversion value to cost in the first 30 days is really close to where it was before that we've been working on for several months. So that's really good there. I'm going to show you one more example, but I have to pause the video real quick, so give me just a second. Okay, guys, so this is the last example I'm going to show for this video. You can see right here what I had to do is look at the time outside of season. So we basically have been looking at, the beginning of October to the end of the beginning of January. The reason is because the season for this client is like September and August. And then a little bit in January, but we haven't seen that happen too much yet. It does kind of die for the holidays. So once again, we're looking at 2 campaigns. I'm trying to weed out the season as much as I can to make it a little bit more apples to apples. And you can see right here, for this particular date range, I won't even look at this is the regular shopping campaign. This is obviously the smart one. I'm going to have to change the date range a little bit to compare, but just keep this in mind. Smart shopping for this particular date range that has been running is about almost a 7 to 1, so 6.5 to 1. So for every dollar we spend, we're getting 6.5 out, right? For this client, that works pretty well. If I pause my screen, or actually if I don't, let me try to go back before season and look at the numbers there. If you just bear with me. Let's go June. Let's say through July. That's a fairly good date range to compare. You'll see it under this campaign. You won't see for Smart because that didn't have anything. We're at a 6.56. So right around the same return on ad spend, which is not bad if we don't factor in season. Now, once again, we just started smart shopping with this particular client within the last, couple months. From a management perspective, if you're a do-it-yourselfer or if you're an agency doing this for other people, one of the things that's very interesting about smart shopping is you can't do anything. Like you can't, all you can do is select the products to be in the campaign. You can't add negatives. You can't do anything else. So in one way, you're like, oh crap, I don't want to not be able to do anything. But at the same time, as far as the level of effort you have to put forth to get a similar result, it's a lot less because you really are adjusting return on ad spend. And you're trusting Google to do a lot of other things. So you obviously want to pick the products you want to be in the campaign. Maybe you want a campaign for different return on ad spend targets. So you have products that you need to get a 6-to-1 on, and you have them in one campaign, and products you're happy to get a 3-to-1 on. You put them in another campaign with their own target. You can do that, but really there's not much else you can do. Google is going to factor in your remarketing audiences into this. Like I said, they're going to cannibalize your regular shopping traffic. So I'm not saying that to say this is this is always going to work and it's easy and there's nothing really to do. I think in setting it up and monitoring things, it's important. We've actually had a couple instances where the smart shopping campaigns completely died for reasons that are outside of the norm that we had to troubleshoot and figure out. And in one case, we had to go back to the regular shopping campaign. So there's nothing to do with these, but I feel like if you're new and you have gotten some sales for regular shopping and you want to try to transition to a smart shopping, it might help you get the same result, a better result, or pretty close to the same result, right? If you're reasonable, with a lot less effort and worry in doing so. So, these are, relatively newer tests for some of our clients. Smart shopping hasn't been out that long, but I want to kind of go over some of the preliminary data with you guys, explain what's happening. We feel pretty good about it. Anyone that we can test smart shopping with, we do. Like I said, so far, most of the tests, the majority have been what you're seeing here, either better or at least as good as what we were getting before, without a loss in certain types of conversions so far, and without as much effort where you're having to normally bid on, each keyword to get to the ROI. Google's handling some of that for you, which we kind of like, and it makes it a little bit more, obviously Google has another level of information that they don't show you as an advertiser. They don't show you, on what device this person, does better on in that location. And even if they did give you the data, you'd have to be a machine to figure it out because you just wouldn't be able to do that for every single interaction. But that's what I got here. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions about smart shopping, put them in the comments below and give it a test. If you've already tested, you've had either really good or really bad results, comment below. Love to hear about that too. It's always great to share experience from other people as well. So thanks a lot, guys, and hope you're enjoying 2019 so far. Thanks.